All right. Okay, we are streaming on YouTube. Let me get the link in the archive as always. Perfect. Okay. So, let's see. Let's jump into things here. There have been no AMA questions over the past 2 weeks, in our AMA questions section. So this will likely be a pretty short and concise AMA. I do continue to see comments about people wanting these to be more concise, so I will keep making an effort to make sure that's the case. Last AMA, I would say, is an exception, as we had announced the release of PREON and the PREON token. But nonetheless, I will continue to make an effort to be as time efficient for you guys as possible, while still addressing the main talking points and community questions as well. So to start out, I did want to talk about the Li-Fi exploit. So the Li-Fi router jumper has suffered an exploit, and we have removed this as an option on the Sphere D app, where it previously was listed as an option to bridge Sphere. Thankfully, I do not think anyone was affected on our end by that exploit, but nonetheless, a lot of people were still affected. This was a router approval exploit. So whenever you go to do any type of transaction within DeFi, the protocol must first ask approval to use the tokens in your wallet before you can then sign the desired transaction. And unfortunately, scammers can exploit this to steal funds. So for this reason, we do recommend using revoke.cash. Revoke makes it very easy to revoke token approvals to avoid these types of compromises. And Revoke helps you keep aware of when you are making token approvals. So you can get the revoke.cash extension, and it will always pop up whenever you are attempting to make a token approval. I personally find that to be very helpful. Rabby Wallet also has a very good tool for revoking approvals, and that's the one that I often use because it's built into the wallet. You just go click on approvals and can click on each of them and revoke them one at a time. It's very cheap. It does not cost much of anything. It's very fast as well. So in terms of investment of your money and time for security, it's a no-brainer. So if you haven't been doing that, I highly, highly encourage you to start getting into the practice. Yes, it's a little bit annoying, but the amount of time and effort it's going to take is very little with respect to the potential financial loss you may suffer as a result of approval exploit, as has happened recently here. So a couple of other things with respect to that in terms of how it can be approved. And just to note as well that Li-Fi has been added back to the dashboard because the issue has been resolved. So also shout out to the Li-Fi team for resolving that quickly. But just for standard practice, you should only ever approve the token amount that you intend to use at any given time. And you should never approve for the maximum or basically near unlimited amount. This can also easily be edited in Rabby Wallet. Whenever the approval pops up, you can simply edit how much you are actually approving. So let's say you are approving $1,000, you can edit that approval to only be $1,000, and then once you complete the transaction, that 1,000 USDC is used up, and the approval is no longer active. The other thing, of course, yes, Rabby is absolutely the best. I don't understand people who still use MetaMask. That's a whole tangent that I won't go down. Even so, even with setting the approval amount, you should still then check to see and make sure that you revoke all of your approvals after completing any desired transactions. This is just going to increase your wallet security. Very doable, again, via Revoke or the OG Rabby wallet. And I do plan to make a video about this topic for this Friday as well, just to give people actual demonstrations of this and help spread that safety and security. Because again, it's very fast, it's very easy, but all the same, it still needs to be done. All right, so that all out of the way, wanted to mention as well, because I think it's worth noting that this is one of the reasons why we have built both Star and PREON as omnifungible tokens through Layer 0. Layer 0 is a much more secure way of bridging funds from one chain to another. Obviously, it's still a bridge, but it allows us to build bridges into our own dApps directly without the need of a third party, such as Jumper, for example, and it's done through Layer 0, which is a different mechanism than how other bridges use. Speaking of PREON, the launch of the PREON token has gone very well overall, and we've been quite happy with the outcome so far. PREON, as hopefully you are all aware, can be swapped using Token Exchange on the Scroll network. And Scroll is an Ethereum Layer 2, and you can use different bridges, of course, including Stargate, to bridge funds from multiple chains over to Scroll. Another reason why this whole concept of being sure that your approvals and revokes are being attended to is important, but you can use bridges like Stargate to bridge funds from multiple chains over to Scroll, and Scroll uses ETH as a gas token, so be sure to send over any additional ETH as well for gas fees. Thank you, Pandu. Also, if you have not yet joined the actual PREON Discord, please be sure to do that. We have different announcements going through PREON. Any type of conversations about PREON are being routed through the PREON Discord, so be sure to join us there. And of course, we are very diligently working on the PREON v2 dApp in order to get it ready for release as soon as possible. However, I do not have an anticipated date or timeline to give you, so I do apologize. Of course, the when questions are always the toughest to answer. And yes, as Pandu is pointing out, within the PREON channel, there is information about how to bridge and how to work with the Scroll network. If you need assistance with that, you can also always open up a support ticket. You can reach out to us on the Discord. I have a video about how to bridge over to the Scroll network. It's actually very fast, very easy. So be sure to check that out. And if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to us because we will be happy to help. Let's see, just double checking, but that really is all that I have to cover for this week's AMA. Again, I am trying to start to make these as concise and to the point as possible. I know your guys' time is very valuable. We do appreciate you being here and listening, and you guys on YouTube as well, listening later. I don't want to take up too much of your time as well. So that is, at this point, all of the main topics I wanted to address, and I will pause for any questions here in AMA chat. All right. It's all right if there are no questions. To me, it means that we're doing our job in helping educate people and being there available when people need that assistance. So, as always, a couple last minute reminders for today. We are coming up on the turn of the epoch, so if you have any governance tokens, be sure to utilize those. If you have YL Sphere locked in Dyson, be sure to check and make sure. Is today one of the days where you have an unlock occurring? And if so, be sure to either relock or withdraw that Sphere token with claiming your rewards beforehand as well. I'm pausing because I see Sinner typing here in AMA chat. As he's doing that, in between now and our next AMA, please be sure to drop any questions you have in AMA questions, that channel here on the Sphere Discord, and we will be happy to go through and answer those at our next AMA. You can also always, as I mentioned, reach out to us on the Sphere Discord, the PREON Discord throughout the next couple of weeks, and we'll be happy to help as well. Sinner, do we have any plans on what's next after PREON 2.0? I know it's a big question, but any scope, aka Sphere Lend, or will Dyson and PREON continue to get updates? Kind of all of the above. Once PREON V2, the DApp is released, of course, we're going to want to be paying attention to that, making sure it's running smoothly. We're going to want to expand into PREON V2 and really leverage its capabilities with respect to building out the different Dyson vaults, collateral options within PREON, building PREON as a protocol, and then expanding that into Sphere Lend so that funds can be routed not only from Dyson to PREON, from PREON to Dyson, but also PREON to Dyson to Sphere Lend. T1, I hope I'm not late. I'm wrestling my brother. Oh gosh. Still a great situation to do it. Oh gosh. Still a great situation. Right, absolutely. At the end of the day, whenever we're, launching a new project, a lot of the focus is going to be on that, and PREON, the PREON token, the STAR token being such important aspects of the ecosystem, especially at this point, we're going to want to continue to focus our time and effort into that primarily, but we also still have a lot of these other aspects that we are working on as well in tandem. Good questions. Any other questions from you guys? When PREON on new chain? When indeed? This is probably more a Rux thing, but how much of the allocated treasury PREON rewards would be routed to the user? I doubt it's 100%, but would you have any idea? I don't have a good idea. That would be absolutely a Rux question. What I would say, though, is it very likely would vary on a week-by-week basis. I think he's referring to the Wild Sphere users. Pandu. Whenever I see Pandu is typing, I just imagine Pandu vigorously typing at the computer. Very good. Last time I checked, it was 100% of the 20% VE PREON allocation. Juicy. There is an additional allocation that is set aside for the PREON treasury that can be utilized for the growth of the PREON protocol and ecosystem. Yeah. Great minds, Center. Great minds think alike. I think I confused myself too in answering those questions, so glad we clarified it. Indeed, very juicy yield. All right. Any other questions? All righty, you've entered into the Wens, so I would suppose now is a great time to finish things off, close things up. So thanks guys so much for being here, for showing up. We do always appreciate it. Gosh. So yes, thank you so much for being here. Remember about your governance tokens, YLsphere, blocks. Ask questions in between now and next time. put them in AMA questions if you want them addressed. Thanks again for being here. Always remember you matter for who you are, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.